Hello everyone, welcome back to Boss OverAnalyzed number 3. As you can see, this one is about Kael'thas, and we progressed a couple of tries on this fight, so I learned a lot, and I'm sure this video will contain some useful information for you if you are arms warrior or not. Maybe you're just stuck on this boss in progress, your tactic doesn't really work, or you experienced some strange bugs like we did. So yeah, I will point some of those out and maybe you can find something that helps your progress. Alright, so let's just start. The first advisor, you might think that you can just attack him every time he changes target or he changed his fixate, but sadly it doesn't always work like that. Sometimes he just seems to randomly change targets a couple of times before he starts his fixate again, like you will see in this following clip. In addition, there are some abilities that classes can use that will cancel his fixate. So you basically have three options to tackle him as a melee. First option is you tunnel him and gamble that he doesn't attack you, which would be the best result for your DPS, but it's obviously very risky and it's not advised. The second option is you swoop in where you are safe to say, when you are safe to say that he has chosen his fixate's target finally, and then you swoop in for a couple of hits and then you go out again and you wait. And the third option is you do not attack him at all and you just use your throwing weapon, which would be the safest option, but obviously the baddest option for your own DPS. Alright, so the second advisor, which is the Lord Zengyonar, and he always opens up with a fear. So that means you want to start in Zerker stance, and if you have a warrior tank, he should pre-pop Zerker Rage and go back to D stance, so defensive stance. This has big benefits. So first, he gets more rage, so he does more threat. Second, he does not get feared even a split second before the Tremor Totem ticks, so which is very good for your threat and positioning again. So yeah, redirect this advisor to a different positioning than you would normally see in the most of the tactics. So most of the tactics will have the advisor like this one and the last one over there, but we had some issues with line of sight cancels through this statue here, especially in P3, and we had another problem that we sometimes were too close to the third advisor, which is the one that gets tanked by the warlock and throws this fire disorientate grenade, and we got a couple of those in the melee camp, and this is why we changed the location to this location. So yeah, this worked very well for us and I suggest you try that out as well. Yeah, so the third advisor, on the third advisor you can't use your range weapon because the 30-yard range is not enough to outrange a disorientate firebomb thingy, so you ideally want to set up a dance camp with your other melee so that you boost the morale of your rangers and your tanks and on your melees, and therefore you get like a nice moral DPS buff in the future of the fight. So it's really useful what we are doing right here, and yeah, you should you should assign your melees here for some really nice dance moves, especially if you have some female orcs. Those will like boost the DPS of your orc male warlocks and stuff like this by quite a lot actually. And yeah, they really start to pump when they see that beautiful orc lady but wiggling around. So yeah, this is nice. So the last advisor, he throws nades on your tank and they explode on the location your tank originally stood when he started his cast. So yeah, you can see him here throw the bomb and boom, it explodes right here, even though the tank right now is here. So you do not want to copy the pathing of your tank, and you want to take a pathing that is like next to that, because those bombs can deal up to 10,000 fire damage. And if you're not such a juggernaut like me with like 11k HP, you will just get one shot. Alright, so weapon phase. So for best DPS you would like to pop every cooldown in the game here, but in a normal world you will just pull threat and die. In addition, if you are in progress, you want to look out for the phase that your guild struggles with the most and pull cities there. For me it's P3. In which I really want to use Death Wish. I could consider Recklessness as well there, but Wreck would be too much threat. Like I experimented with Recklessness, and with this super huge axe, I will just pull threat in a cleave scenario no matter what I do. So yeah. That's why I pulled Death Wish on the second advisor, like you saw, on the second advisor maybe, and on P3 at the start, because we pull last and everything on P3 at the start. So yeah, I have that. Your tech can drag the axe into the AoE cluster camp after its whirlwind and drag it out again before the next whirlwind starts. However, the axe can be stunned, so you could technically tank the axe in the cluster camp if you have stunners that are fast enough. So you want to loot the axe, obviously, the dagger, the sword and the shield. That means you need all those weapon skills on 350 ideally. Here you want the one-hander and the shield just in case your tank dies in the last phase and you can save something with that. The one-hander can be good for your dual wield macro for execute phase if you choose to play with that method, and the axe obviously is your best choice right now because it's 750 top end and there's not a lot of arguments to make against such a huge number. In addition, you get this haste buff, which will increase your attack speed, and you will get a movement speed buff as well. Movement speed can result in more DPS as well, because you are faster in moving out of void zones and stuff like that. So, third phase. When the advisors resurrect, they reset their aggro. But if you are more than 40 yards away, sometimes your aggro will not get reset. So everyone needs to be in at least 40 yards range to the second and the last advisor. Again, your tank should go to Zerker stance and pre-pop Zerker rage. Here is a clip where this really went wrong, so you get an idea on how important that is. here now you just want to cleave them down. Here you want to pay close attention that the advisor that is tanked by the tank that is assigned for Kael'thas dies before KT becomes active, of course, but at the same time don't kill it too fast so that you can cleave more, obviously. Alright, so now let's talk about Kael'thas himself. So first thing what he does is he casts fireballs. You want to obviously kick them. Second thing is the shock barrier. When you attack the barrier you don't get any rage, so if your raid has a trouble dealing with this mechanic you want to save up rage or use a mighty rage potion before that happens. He does kinda an arcane explosion from time to time. It's called arcane disruption, I think. If you can, you want to use your Berserker Rage on this, obviously. Alright, so mind controls. If a range gets mind controlled, the best thing is your range deal with that. So you want to tell your ranges to level up their dagger skill, because if you need to do it, it would be like triple the DPS loss, because you would need to run to the MC'd player, then you need to run back and equip your axe again. What will reset your swing timer, so you just stand there not attacking for another 3 seconds. In addition, if your shaman totem twists, you would even lose uptime on Wind Fury in some cases, and here this can't be it, right? Like, just compare these two things. You need to run away from the boss, need to equip the dagger, get the person out of mind control, run back to the boss, equip your two-handed axe, and reset your swing timer, maybe even lose Wind Fury uptime. So now we look at the range just swoops on the dagger, maybe interrupts one of his casts, or not even, finish his cast, equip the dagger, make 2 or 3 outer attacks with the fast dagger, equip the stuff again, can immediately start casting. So yeah, there you have that. So your ranges really want to level up their daggers for this fight if you want to min-max with your guild here. Or if you want to even maximize your chances of success here. But if, however, you need to go after the MC'd players, Whirlwind is a nice option because it's an extra hit and it can hit multiple MC'd people. You do not want to duel wield anything together with the dagger, because this would trigger the extra miss penalty from that. You obviously do not want to mortal strike or hamstring MC'd players. Yeah. Last thing are the phoenixes, so those just fly around and deal like 2k fire damage every 2 seconds, so it's a nice way to trade some blue for red, if you can afford it, of course. So right now in progress you obviously do not run to trade your the healer's mana for your rage, but however when later in the expansion maybe it's a great way to increase your DPS. Yeah, when a phoenix dies, it will drop an egg that wants to be killed if possible. Try avoid having shock barrier from KT and the phoenix egg at the same time, because you will be most likely only able to deal with one of those, which would be the shock barrier, because it's a higher priority. So here is one horrible mistake I need to point out to you, and this is I will, like this laser bearman is standing into the flame strike right now, right? And he's mind controlled, so this means if this flame strike triggers right now, you will not take any damage from that. However, if I now decide to attack him with my dagger and get him out of mind control, he will most likely not be able to get out of the flame strike in time, and he will die. So, and this is exactly what I do here, boop. And I strike a nice double kill here with my insane stupidity and kill him. Not only, but as well I misjudged the range on the flame strike myself and was slowed in addition, which is fine, because they kinda need to CC you if you become, if you get mind controlled with a two-hander and Wind Fury. They really do not want to get touched by you, so it's fine that I was slowed. I should have just judged the range on the flame strike a lot more precise, and yeah, I shouldn't have got laser bearman out of the mind control. So this was like a minus 50 DKP play by me. So I'm a little bit embarrassed here, but yeah, I don't feel ashamed showing that off to you, because I'm sure you can learn from my mistake again. So here he transitioned into his last phase, and we have one phoenix left, so we are told to kill him. He ticks every 2 seconds, so if you have the right rhythm, you can swoop in for an attack and go out and do this over and over again. If you have the right rhythm, you can just attack them without taking any damage, like you see me doing here 2 times in a row. And now I get into the wrong rhythm, and therefore I take damage 2 times in a row. In addition, I eat the knockback here like a couple other people. Isn't really ideal, but it's not the end of the world. 4k damage is not that much. Alright, so last phase starts. From here you want to ignore the phoenixes and just pump on the boss, because it gets kinda a DPS race from this point on. When gravity lapse happens, I got a little bit overwhelmed here from these strange controls with the swimming motion in the air. I don't know about you, but I get kinda problems with judging ranges in this 3D scenario, like judging the range to other players or to like those void cloud zones, like nether vortex or whatever they called. And yeah, this is why I recommend you try to stay as close to the bottom as possible, because here there's a lot of space and it's very easy to judge the range on those things, like on other players and the voids, if you're just below, like down here. In addition, you do not want to be too far up when the gravity lapse ends, so you do not die because of the fall damage. So I need to be very careful here, because my maximum HP is reduced to 4k. And yeah, that's pretty much it from what I learned and everything like that. If you made it this far, you might be really interested in getting good, how they call it, with Arms Warrior or like raiding in particular. So I suggest you join my Discord, a link in the video description. So I hope we will see each other in the next one, and you can enjoy the rest of the fight with music now.